of the comprehensive plan from industrial back to mixed use. If the request is approved, a rezoning will also be required. Staff is working with the development team to determine the best zoning, or if a new zoning district needs created, which we actually did that previously. The property lacks utilities and would require the extension of services, including but not limited to sanitary sewer, water, electricity, interior roadways, etc. And the necessary agreements will be put in place with the unified government regarding any necessary utilities the UG is to provide, similar to what the Bonner Crossing and the Van Trust projects had. This request is one of many steps in the processes for the destination KCK and surrounding amenities. This was the one parcel up there on the corner area where it's now called Destination KCK. That is the name they went by, and that's what they're going by. But this is the Mattel project at the corner of 118th and State Avenue. We had taken one of those 80-acre parcels a couple years ago and turned it into industrial. Now these individuals are looking to turn it back.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Anything else to add by the staff at all? Seeing none, I would go ahead and entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt an ordinance amending the future land use map of the comprehensive plan of Bonner Springs and its planning area.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Shannon and a second by Ms. Blanks. Go ahead and we'll start with you, Mr. McMahon. Any comments, questions?
None at this time.
Ms. Wood?
None at this time.
Ms. Gurley?
Nothing.
Ms. Kipp?
Nothing.
Ms. Blanks?
Thanks for your time on this, Mark. Is this the final piece of the puzzle before they can start breaking ground?
They'll go through for a rezoning. They're working. They've submitted some site development plans for executive type construction trailers and some earthwork changes. So those are all kind of rolling through the process now. But this is their first step in really kind of rezoning, I guess, moving their project forward.
When's the next time they'll come back to us, and what should we expect?
So we have a rezoning actually scheduled for March. So if that goes through at Planning Commission, then it'll be recommended to you guys. You'll see it in April.
And then after that, they're good to go on?
More or less.
Okay.
Yeah, they've already started some designs, obviously. We've seen those in concept form. There may be some changes that come about, but we'll see how those pan out. But yeah, once they get it rezoned, they'll really be able to start kind of moving along a little bit better clip.
Thank you. That's the question I get asked the most, so I've just been wanting to know of getting a realistic timeline of where they're at in the process. Thanks, Mark.
Sure.
Ms. Long?
No questions, thank you so much.
Mr. Reeves?
Nothing else, thank you.
I have nothing else to add, so if nobody else has got anything else, I would go ahead and have the clerk go ahead and record the vote.
Shannon?
Yes.
Wood? Yes. Reeves?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
Kipp?
Yes.
McMahon?
Yes.
Gurley?
Yes.
Blanks?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, on to item number 2, the rezoning request for bungalows at Bonner Springs. Again, this is a public hearing. This had a planning commission public hearing back on January 20th, okay. This is a quasi-judicial item, so we need any disclosures that would need to be made. I'll go ahead and say that I have received email communication from both proponents as well as opponents of this item. We'll go ahead and start with you, Mr. Shannon. Anything to add?
Nothing to add, but I have also received email communications.
Mr. Kipp?
Nothing else to add, but I did receive email communications, both for
Gurley?
and against.
I did as well.
I did as well.
Mr.
Same
McMahon?
here.
I did as well, Mr. Mayor.
I also did.
And Mr.
I
Reeves?
didn't.
Okay. Go ahead and we'll allow you to start your presentation.
Sorry. Mr. Mayor, council members, Mark Lee, Community Development Director. In front of you this evening is an ordinance for a rezoning. A portion of the property, let me back up here. A rezoning for the property at 300 South 130th Street. The request is a change from RR, Rural Residential, and MR, Mixed Residential, to PDMR, Planned District Mixed Residential. A portion of the property was rezoned in 2023 from A1 agricultural to R3 multifamily residential in preparation for the Cornerstone apartment project. That project failed to come to fruition after several steps and processes were completed. These steps and processes included the approved rezoning, an approved lot split, the submittal of a traffic impact study, stormwater drainage study, and an improved site and landscape plan. In mid-June of 2025, staff was contacted about the potential of redeveloping or developing the proposed area by another development group. The proposed rezoning would allow for the construction of 186 market-rate, single-family, build-for-rent dwelling units. The development would be comprised of a mix of housing units consisting of 28 one-bedroom homes constructed as duplexes, 86 two-bedroom homes, and 70 three-bedroom homes. A clubhouse is proposed for the development, along with a mix of covered and uncovered parking, internal sidewalks, and other amenities for residents of the development. The property consists of approximately 21 acres, is proposed to have 2 gated vehicular ingress and egress areas that were indicated on the provided plan. A large tract will be left undeveloped for stormwater management purposes, and a traffic impact and drainage study have both been submitted for review along with an overall site and landscape plan. Sorry. And then there was a preliminary plat that was also submitted at that time for Planning Commission. As council, though, you don't receive preliminary, or you don't review preliminary plats necessarily. You review the final for acceptance of public right-of-way and easements. But this was the property. Since then, the traffic impact study has been reviewed. The developer is here and would like to provide you with a little presentation that they had given at the Planning Commission, if you would so allow.
Well, we can't do that because we would, hopefully everybody has read the packet, but that needs to be done at the Planning Commission level because that would be potentially, introducing new evidence. So with that, normally the normal LKM policy, we try to follow their recommendation, which is to put a motion on the floor before we open up discussion for council. But I think we've got, I don't know if anybody knows for sure which direction they really want to go without having a discussion. So I'm going to have, our city clerk is going to make sure everybody is fully aware of what the options are in front of us, and then we'll open up the floor for the council to go ahead and start asking questions or comments.
On this item, you have 3 options, as are on the screen. You can make a motion to adopt an ordinance approving the rezoning request. That's in conflict with what the Planning Commission recommended, so in order for that to pass, we need a 2/3 majority. You can make a motion to uphold the Planning Commission recommendation and deny the rezoning request, or you can make a motion to remand the item back to the Planning Commission for further discussion and consideration of the traffic study and to accept public comment again at the next Planning Commission meeting.
Okay, with that said, Ms. Gurley, you said you had a quick question there.
No.
Oh, okay. With that, we'll go ahead and I will go ahead and open discussion up amongst council members. We'll go ahead and start with you, Ms. Blanks.
You need a motion first?
No, we're going to go ahead and not follow normal LKM recommendations. I want to go ahead and let us have one round of comments and stuff before we'll request a motion put on the floor, and then we can have further discussion. So, Ms. Blanks?
Mark, thanks for being here. I just want to ask some questions, especially for I know we have listeners who watch our meetings sometime this week, which thank you to those people who do. So I just want to go through and ask some questions, and then you can just tell me yes or no if that's okay. This project will be 184 units, some of them being 1, 2, or 3 bedrooms
Yes,
at 1 story.
yes.
And when it comes to the project that you had mentioned that was once fully passed by planning and zoning and passed by us was a phase 1 of more units than that, with the option of a phase 2 to almost double these numbers and be of a higher density project, right?
Yes, you are correct.
Considering this one, for the entire use of the land, there's only a phase 1 of 184 total units.
Correct.
Okay, great, thank you. Also, this is not low-income housing. This is standard market rate, and from what I read in the packet, is income requirements, credit checks, and background checks for all tenants on property.
I believe that's what the developer stated in the public hearing, yes.
And speaking of the developer, there is no incentives into this project. They will fully be on the tax roll, and any infrastructure needed, such as a holding tank and a line, they are 100% responsible for paying for.
You are correct.
Also, with having credit checks, background checks, and market rates, this is the type of property that will be gated, maintenance on sites, have amenities like a clubhouse, pool, gym, dog parks, and sports courts. And that it's mainly marketed towards those as young professionals, retirees, or starter families that can't necessarily afford single-family dwellings at this time.
Yes, would agree.
And then the last project that was approved through both governing bodies, that was a 3-story project that we had previously approved on half the amount of the property. I also read the minutes from the planning and zoning meeting, and I did want to say that I did have a conversation with our superintendent because I know there was questions of concerns regarding if our school district can handle new families coming in. He had said that there has been a decline in enrollment over the last decade into our school district, and that he said that at this time, they're welcoming families to move into the community to be a part of the school district. I think when it comes to this topic, when reading those minutes, which I want to say, I love and appreciate community engagement and people showing up to be involved and listen and learn and voice on things that they love or may not love for the community. I think for me as a council person, when the main tone that I'm getting from those minutes that I'm reading is that I'm hearing saying people that we don't want those kind of people in our community, AKA non-homeowners. I just want to state that for those of you who don't know, I am not a homeowner. I rent in Bonner. And I don't know how much engaged people are with the current housing market of what it looks like in Wyandotte County specifically. So I was very curious of those numbers, and I did some research with the Wyandotte County Appraiser's Office, and in 2016, the median average house cost in Wyandotte County was $90,000 to $110,000, and in January of 2026, the current median price in Wyandotte County is $235,000. That is over 225% increase in over the last decade, which a decade ago was when I graduated college. I now work 3 jobs. I proudly sit on council. I'm the executive director of our Chamber of Commerce. I serve on our tourism board. I'm a proud Rotarian. I volunteer with just about every organization in this community. So as somebody who doesn't own a home here, but every day proudly and loudly invest in this community, I don't know about all of you, but that's exactly the people that I want to live in our communities. And that true shift of what it may have been decades ago, of those people that live in apartments, that is just the now new reality, which is why apartments are not just being built, not just in the Kansas City metro, but literally everywhere. I know I've had multiple conversations with city staff, and I have said, what do we need to do as a community to attract developers to build single-family residential homes? And our staff has done an amazing job to be as attractive as we can to those developers, and they're not knocking at our doors. I also, through this whole process of being on council and having to work with somebody like a commission like our planning and zoning, I really had to learn that there can be such thing as like true overreach, and that if a development comes in, meets all of their requirements, even if it doesn't technically benefit us and what we personally want or need, that doesn't mean that the rest of the community should be ignored. And so I think for a project like this, I see it as starter families. One of the conversations I had with our superintendent is the boomers in this community aren't moving. They're holding on to their homes, and I don't blame them because of housing costs. So when I see developments like this that could be a mix of our retirees, which then could relinquish some actual like single dwelling homes in this community to really drive more of that in, or I think of college age students that can't quite afford to live in the metro but still want to be a part of it. We are coming to Bonner Springs. This is the new affordable living, and I think we have an excellent community. And a project like this with a company of said background, I think it's a great opportunity for us, and I know that's going to upset some people. But I think for me is what's so frustrating is our community continues to grow, and it is going to continue to grow. Growth is here, knocking on our door. Like, the metro has expanded only so much. I think what's so frustrating to me is everybody wants to protect empty ground and empty land and want to say what we should or shouldn't do with it. I just encourage people to buy land if they don't want it developed. I think it's a hard position to sit here and say, well, not in my backyard, or these people shouldn't come here. I will say one thing that does need to be addressed, that I agreed with some of the people who said this. When it comes to the traffic study, I would like for those, when available, to be made public so people can look that over. I do think that's important. I have met with city staff of asking what are some true viable options there. Whether it's on Kansas Avenue, making that a double turn left lane, can a roundabout fit there? Where can we widen? Can we work with KDOT? What are some of our options? Because I do know that there are 2 times a day between the hours of 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then probably 4 to 6 p.m. where there are definitely challenges at the light and at the stop sign by Twisters. So those are some real concerns that I did hear and did listen to, which I agree with. Again, I think it's frustrating for me as somebody who doesn't own a home, and I get to read comments about those people while I'm sitting here almost every day serving this community. So I do encourage residents, before you reach out to council members or you speak on a public platform, I just encourage you to get to know your council members before you speak in roundabout ill turn of them. I want to thank staff I know they met with a lot of us, but again, I think this is with the type of development that this is, what they're proposing, that's lower density than any project that has been proposed on that land. And I appreciate them looking at Bonner Springs as somebody who does deserve nice properties like this that can draw in young professionals, retirees, starter families, or even college-age students. So thank you for your time, Mark.
Thank you, Ms. Blanks.
Ms. Long?
I don't have any questions at this time.
Okay. Mr. Reeves?
Yes. Emily, I thank you for the work you did on that. I appreciate a lot of your comments. One comment or one question I have is there going to be somebody, when this is all done, that lives on site to take care of, manage this permanently?
That was the intent of the developer, yes.
Okay. Emily answered a lot of my other questions. Thank you. That's it.
Mr. McMahon?
Yeah, I appreciate everything you said, Emily, and I understand your circumstances. We had I think Fran Sutton is a lady that's being incredibly aggressive in Wyandotte County, and she's buying these lots, and they're building these homes, and they're selling them. And as soon as one goes up, it sells. Keyword is selling. I think, not to dismiss anything that you said, Em, I think I say pride with humility, but there is a proud moment to be able to purchase a home. And I think that's something that we shouldn't lose sight of. We've had issues with that property, right, with sewer, and there's a huge undertaking. The developers, maybe, are they present at this time?
Yes, sir, there.
This is not our first rodeo, right? Talking about what we can develop, and Emily nailed it. I mean, the first scope was twice the size, and there was going to be a lot more sewer and water issues and all that stuff and what may have you. There's no doubt any kind of development is going to be an influx of traffic in that area. And I get it, right? Once you get acclimated to it, you find alternate routes to get around and take the back road or whatever, and I understand that. But I also understand and appreciate the people that live in those areas, and I respect their concerns. And I think as council members, we need to, that's who we run for. They elect us to be a voice for them. And we can never lose sight of that, right? And if not, they can reelect someone else the next go around. And so with all that in mind, I do want to bring out the fact that it was unanimous by the Planning Commission to not rezone. Is that correct?
It was.
Okay.
You are correct.
So I just want to bring that up. That's a point. I'd rather see homes being built. You're right. We have people in our community that probably has funds that could have developed that land, and I wish they had done something or expanded whatever housing that's out there and continued to develop it. There was probably some caveats as to why they didn't do it. And I don't know what they are, but I just know they built so many homes and then it stopped. Maybe it was the price of the house was an issue too. With that, we have three options as it was brought to our attention, and I just think we need to be mindful. I'm not opposed to housing for anyone, but at the same time, I just, what lies ahead? If these people don't own the homes, who do? And then what could that potentially lead into later on if there's issues with that? So that's all I have.
Ms. Wood?
I have nothing because everybody has said everything.
Ms. Gurley?
In looking at the piece of land, does the retention pond that exists there now remain there?
Yes.
So that western half approximately of the property won't be developed, it'll only be the northeastern?
It would be the northwest corner of the property. That's kind of where it sits. Northwest. If you're looking at the drawing, the curve is K7 and I-70, that interchange coming off of there. So that northwest corner where it's blank is where that pond exists today. I'd have to see which one.
Northwest corner is the pond? Yes, okay.
Yeah,
Development is the northeast corner.
it would be,
It's the I-70, or the
Yeah.
Speaker Road and 7 Highway corner.
I-70 is to the north and K7 is to the east there, yeah.
Okay. That's the same part of the parcel that would have been developed under the previous,
That would have been the far east portion of the property. It was split in half, and so the east portion, there's a dashed line going through, if we're looking at the
I'm
same.
actually not looking at your packet right this
Okay, I'm
second.
sorry.
Hold on one second, let me get to that. I was looking at the Google map. If it
But
will
yeah, so
load.
the eastern portion was proposed to be developed into the apartments.
Okay,
And then that western section was gonna be left for the time being till they got the apartments developed to see how they could continue that development.
gotcha.
Now, this one in turn takes the entire site.
Gotcha, okay. And then I noticed there was a comment that the entrance onto Davis Avenue was intended to be an exit only?
So there was some communication at the public hearing between the developer and quite honestly, some of the public, but that was a statement that was made. Honestly, from a staff standpoint, Davis Avenue makes it's a public street that could be used as access. and it would actually probably move some vehicles away from commercial. But
Does
that,
the developer have the option of making that an exit only?
I mean, they could
Gated
do
entrance,
it,
so that could be their choice?
they could do that however they wanted.
Okay.
They talked about gating it and just having a crash gate in case fire department needed to get in or something like that, yeah.
Okay. And the new traffic study has been completed and returned?
So I guess I'll just say new as in per this development,
Per this
right? I mean, it
development.
wasn't, so they had already done one, it was submitted, and it was under review, and that's why I don't typically include those in the planning commission, because they're still being reviewed. Since then, it has been reviewed, and we'll just leave it at that for now. I don't want to say too much, because we'll see where we stand, but I can't divulge anything that wasn't discussed during the planning commission public hearing, so.
Thank you. That answers my next non-question.
Okay.
And at this point, Mr. Mayor, you and I have discussed this briefly. KDOT has not come forward with any additional plans for K7 and Kansas Avenue interchange.
That is correct. I've talked to staff, we're in communication with KDOT to put together a meeting where we sit down and start talking and discussing about the potential of how we can address that intersection.
I think that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Mr. Kipp?
Yeah, primarily the questions I had, many of them been answered, but from constituents were about the traffic study and how this is going to affect, and
Sure.
That's where a lot of my questions lie, and until that's out there and studied, I don't have any other questions on it right now.
Mr. Shannon?
I was, like everybody here, and a lot of the questions that I had have been discussed. I asked a friend of mine one time, that I said, who's been involved in developments and a builder and stuff, and I said, a lot of times people will say when there's something coming forth, well, the traffic, and yes, the traffic. And he said, when you build it, traffic's going to come. And that made me think about the situation that was done earlier about the Cornerstone Apartments, and I believe it was discussed clearly earlier where that was a lot more than what is being offered now. Something else that has kind of baffled me, and that's the fact that this property has been sitting vacant for, well, they said for decades. I've lived in Bonner since 1974, and it's been sitting there. It's kind of like the old story about what was with Old Dominion up there at the old campground and stuff, and they said, put this in, put that in, why are we doing this or that? But yet again, it was never done. There's been plenty of time for development in there. Now, this may not set well with a lot of the people, because I've tried to put myself in their place as to how would I feel. Well, sometimes something that caught my attention, and this is not anybody's fault or anything, it's just the development, that there are 3 streets right now that are stubbed in to that possible development. Now, why were those 3 streets stubbed in? Because somebody at some point knew that there would be the possibility for it to be developed. Sometimes what's really difficult is the fact that when people are buying a home, they'll ask the realtor, well, what do you think is going to go behind this, in this empty property behind here? Or is there anything that's going to be happening? And a lot of times, realtors will say, oh, there's probably nothing going to go in there for quite some time. I think they call that, let the buyer beware. But when I saw this, I said those 3 streets in there, that kind of gave me an indication that something would be going in there. We have had I think Bonner Springs has been the best kept secrets for a lot of years. And as was noted earlier, that we've offered and tried to encourage, our staff has gone overboard to try to do stuff to get developers in here. And they haven't come. Now we have some interest, and I'm not going to sit here and say what people have said to me or have said to any of my colleagues here, but sometimes we have to say what is in the best interest, as best as we could say, for the future. And right now, we need rooftops. Right now, this would put minimally, and I'm going to go strictly with the numbers that are there, 186 people right there, and close to businesses and markets, etc. I know that it's difficult because, as I started to say earlier, that how would I feel? Well, I live across the street and have for over 50 years a 40-acre mini farm. Now, I know that's going to develop someday. You know, that's just the way things are, and that's the way our whole system is moving now towards more population. And Bonner is growing, and this is the opportunity. That doesn't make it any easier for anybody that lives up in that area, but I think that I know I have to try to think of what's best for our city, and I know that the residents live there. I know some of them, and it's difficult, but I think for the best interest of our city and everything, I think we need rooftops, and this is an opportunity to get it because nobody has offered to do that other than the Cornerstone Apartments of last year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shannon. Yeah, I do have a few comments and maybe a question or two. Like Ms. Blanks, I have had conversations with the superintendent of the school over the last several years. And yes, enrollment has been steadily dropping over the last decade. I think they had 1 year where it did increase, but for the most part, steadily dropping. During that meeting, I know there was a comment made about the superintendent was concerned. Well, he was concerned, but what he told me when I talked to him is he was concerned about the dropping enrollment, not about anybody, that project. It was about the dropping enrollment. And I appreciate Mr. Shannon bringing up about the streets. I understand when you live in an area and you didn't have traffic for a lot of years, it's easy to think we've got this closed-in subdivision. But multiple streets up there were not cul-de-sacs. They were stubbed in with future development in mind. I do know also one of the comments made by one of those who spoke is the staff pointed out about the zoning that took place on the east, that it is still in place. And they said it's a threat. It's not a threat, it's the reality. The reality is another project could come in and wish to build an apartment there, and there's no rezoning that has to take place. And so it's not a threat, it's just the reality. But I do know one of the biggest issues is the corridor there at Kansas Avenue and K7. For the most part, it's not bad except for a couple periods in the morning and in the evening. It definitely needs to be addressed as it was asked of Ms. Gurley, myself. I have talked to the city manager. We're in discussion with UG, well, also with KDOT. Keep in mind that any redesign of that intersection, there's a good chance we will either have to pay for it or will have to help fund it. So it's going to come on our residents to do it. Does it need to be done? Yes. My question to you is, has the contributors to that intersection are not just in Bonner. They're to our neighbors to the south, to our neighbors to the west. So my question is, to the neighbors to the south, have they put a moratorium on any new development out there?
Not that I'm aware of, sir.
Okay. The neighbors to the west, have they put any moratorium on development?
Same response, not that I'm aware of, sir.
They are not responsible for generating any revenue to fix that and improve that. But the one entity that it would fall on from our standpoint is us, and we're saying we need to put a moratorium on any development there. It doesn't make sense to me. Now, I will say I was a little, it is this council who has to make that decision, these 8 individuals sitting up here. It is the burden is on them. We look at the planning department to give the staff recommendation to try to cover all the bases, understand what the legality is, because that property owner has a right to potentially develop their property. But we expect information to come from there. We expect the information to come from this, from the public who have spoke, both for and against it, because the developer spoke in favor of it, of course. And then we have many of the residents who lived up in that area spoke in opposition to it. And then the third piece is the Planning Commission's recommendation. What bothers me is that recommendation came forward with very little, I assume you were at the meeting, unfortunately, we had audio problems, so I wasn't able to watch it, but seemed like there was very little discussion, and there was no direction of why they felt it should be denied. We're in a quasi-judicial mode. Think of it, a prosecutor comes up and says, I want to charge him and find him guilty of a crime. The judge says, call your first witness, and the prosecutor says, I rest my case. Now, what's the judge supposed to do? Find the person guilty without providing any evidence. And that's where I have an issue, and that's why I would look at wanting to send it back to planning. They may come back with another denial, that's fine, but I think they need to provide to us, explain to us why they think it should be denied. And also, since the big issue was with the traffic report, the traffic study, which you say has now been completed, if they have access now to that, and would they have also access to the previous traffic study that was done for the Cornerstone Apartments, which I assumed was approved unanimously, correct?
Yes.
When the Cornerstone Apartments were approved, it was done unanimously,
Yes, sir.
right?
It was.
So if we have both of those, I think it'd be incumbent upon them to look at both of those traffic studies and say, why is this one acceptable, but potentially not knowing what's in those traffic studies? Why is one, I would expect it to show less traffic. Why is it not acceptable? So I will go ahead at this point in time, open up to the council to go ahead and make a motion, if somebody would like to.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt an ordinance. This is number 1. Make a motion to adopt an ordinance approving the rezoning request for the bungalows at Bonner Springs.
Or
Do we have a second?
No, he has to choose one.
Seeing no second, that motion fails. I would go ahead and accept a new motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to remand the item back to the Planning Commission for further discussion and consideration of the traffic study, and to accept public comment again at the next Planning Commission meeting, and return the application with a recommendation to the council.
I also want to add on to that, the current traffic study and the traffic study from the Cornerstone Apartments.
I'll
And then
amend
I'll
to
make a
include
second.
both traffic
Well,
studies.
Ms. Woods already made the second, so we have a motion by Ms. Gurley and a second by Ms. Woods. Now, I will go ahead now and open up for additional discussion if anybody wishes to discuss it. Mr. Reeves?
is there any way that we could place the responsibility of that traffic on Cornerstone? I know a lot of times when subdivisions are built, they have to build the roads too.
That would probably be a question for staff and for legal, since they are not asking for any incentives at all, and there's no developers agreement. It might be hard for them to request that part of the development requires for them to invest in roads outside of their development. Would I be accurate in that?
The traffic impact study could state some things that need to be addressed. They could be as
Okay.
simple as signal timing. They could be the installation of a whole new signal. But those come out of the traffic impact study, and they would be relayed to the developer, and then really, they would be responsible. They most definitely could be responsible for some things outside of their parcel.
That's one thing I think we ought to send it back to the Planning Commission to see if they can't maybe consider that as a reason.
Okay. Any other comments, questions from anyone?
Sure. It's rare that the planning commission denies a rezoning, and a lot of that's for legality reasons. And I've read, there's a plethora of reasons why they voted against it. And I like to honor the recommendation that the planning commission has made to deny the rezoning of the land, which would have been number
We've
two.
already got a
Motion on the table.
We never had a chance to do two. We went from 1 to 3.
Well, that's because we've already had a motion and a second on the third one.
Okay.
And my reasoning is similar to the mayor in that I would like to hear the justification of the planning committee for their recommendation.
Any other comments, questions from anyone?
Are they required to do it?
I mean, they could go back and do the same result and then send it right back to us, technically.
And do we do this over again, or
But
we
now
make a decision?
the traffic study will now be made available to them and the public.
My position is, just as the individuals who live in that subdivision are property owners and they have property rights and land rights, the individual that owns that property also has ownership rights, has land rights as well. The question becomes, is the rezoning of that going to cause detrimental impact to them directly? And that would be the question that comes from the Planning Commission that has to be able to provide us a reasoning why they believe it's going to be detrimental to those residents and why it should be denied.
Yes.
I don't know. I think detrimental is a strong word to use. I just think they're in opposition of it just for obvious reasons that was stated by the planning commission, so.
But there was no justification in their decision.
Yeah, if you
There were
look
no-
at the Planning Commission notes, you had a lot of public hearing. A lot of people from the public spoke, but very few little comments by the Planning Commission members themselves.
So, but I don't think the planning commission was influenced by those constituents that was in opposition to rezoning.
And that's why we're sending it back, so they can share their justification with us. They don't have to change their mind, they just need to tell us why they voted, why they voted.
I'm not anti-housing, just to make that statement, and before you guys, I appreciate earlier, we had other people that's developed in our downtown. I'm good with that. I'd rather see homes for sale than for rent. Okay, and maybe that comes from my age. I'm just saying, because it's just, as you get older, wisdom. We hope wisdom comes with age. But I want to see development, and we need it. But at the same time, I'm not tuning out those reasons to why it was denied.
But what reasons did you read?
I was just looking at what it stated. I was looking at the minutes.
But what planning commission statements did you see?
Danny, I'm not going to debate with you,
I'm
but
not
that's
trying-
fine.
no,
But
I'm
I'm
just-
just,
respectfully
She has a
asking.
legitimate
No,
point
because I agree. When I read the minutes, I read through them and I was looking for them to tell us like
Why?
a true, like professional, or is there something within our ordinances or codes, or was there reports that came back? Like,
I'm genuinely interested in
that's
what
what I
you
was
saw.
looking for, and I failed to find any of that.
I think there's some of the biggest concerns, and that's fair.
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
but are you reading the Planning Commission's comments, or are you reading the public comments?
No, I believe, I'm reading the minutes that was sent, and I think anyone, if you live in Bonner and you make a comment about something, it's valid.
I'm not saying it's not valid, but we need to have the reasoning
If
from.
you're asking me whose comment I read, you're saying one maybe gives more weight than the other, and I don't see it that way, but that's,
The planning commission is tasked with justifying the decision that they present to the council for us to back or disagree with.
We perused right over option number 2, and that's fine.
Well, when I asked for a motion, you could have made that option.
I
that
guess I
motion.
could have.
Yeah.
Blame
It's
it on
like-
blame it on the rookie.
No, just like Mr. Shannon made option,
On the trash
he
cans?
he made the first proposal,
And
motion.
it died.
And there was no
because nobody
second to it.
seconded
Okay.
So that's when it reopened it for a new motion on the floor.
So with any other comments, questions? Seeing none, I would go ahead and have we have a motion now on the floor in a second, so I would go ahead and have the clerk go ahead and record the vote.
Voting on a motion to remand the item back to the Planning Commission for further discussion and consideration of the traffic study and to accept public comment again at the next Planning Commission meeting and return the application with a recommendation to the council. Sorry. Reeves?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Gurley?
Yes.
McMahon?
Nope.
Blanks?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
Shannon?
Abstain.
Kip?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, staff, for that. Appreciate the council. I know it kind of gets a little enjoyable and fun up here sometimes, and hard decisions have to be made, but let's see what goes back to the Planning Commission with that traffic study. We'll see what they come back with, and hopefully we can they'll listen to this and encourage, giving us some reasoning why they're wanting to deny it.
Yes, sir.
So, with that, then, we will move on to item number 3. MC 0226, the Municipal Code Amendment, Floodplain Regulation Update. Is that you again, Mr. Lee?
Me again, sir. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Mark Lee, Community Development Director. We are here for my last item this evening for the floodplain management regulation update and basically revisions throughout the entire document. In the city's latest community rating system verification crosswalk, it was determined by our regional CRS coordinator, FEMA, and the Kansas Department of Water Resources that our floodplain ordinance needed updating. Working with those groups, staff made the appropriate changes and submitted them for approval to those entities. Those regulations have since been approved by all mentioned above and now comes forward to the council for formal adoption. I will apologize. I tried to do a red line version, but there was so many emails and tracking between myself and all of the organizations, it was hard to create a red line version. There were several revisions through this, including some height and really just general language that has changed since we last adopted them in 2015. So I will state, though, that they were sent to, again, all of those entities, the Community Rating System Coordinator, FEMA, and Kansas as the state, and they have all given their approval on the document in front of you.
Thank you for the presentation. Is there any residents left that would like to speak on this item? Seeing none, I would go ahead and entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve an ordinance adopting the floodplain management regulations 2025 edition for the city and unincorporated area of Wyandotte County and repeal ordinance number 2402 adopted on July 13th, 2015.
Second.
So we have a motion by Ms. Blanks and a second by Mr. Reeves. We'll go ahead and start here with you, Mr. McMahon. Any comments, questions?
I do not have any.
None?
No.
Ms. Woods?
No. No questions.
Ms. Gurley?
Nothing.
Mr. Kipp?
Nothing.
Mr. Shannon? No. Ms. Blanks?
No questions. Thanks for your time, Mark.
Ms. Long?
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Reeves?
No questions added here. Thank you.
And I have nothing else additional to add to it, so with that, I would go ahead and have the clerk go ahead and record the vote.
Wood?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
McMahon?
Yes.
Blanks?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Kip?
Yes.
Gurley?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, on to item number 4, acceptance of pool painting bid.
I was going to turn it over for a third act, but I didn't.
You got another one coming up?
All right, you get me for the next 4 at least. All right, good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Justine Spees. I'm the Recreation Director. This item up for your approval or whichever, I'm requesting the acceptance of the bid from Dayco Painting to brush, blast, and completely repaint the entire pool shell, which was last done in 2018. We had 8 bids on this project, which is super exciting. Dayco was one of the several people who actually came out to the facility to take a look at it, eyes on site, and see all of the possible trouble areas so that they are aware of those. They have good reviews. They were the lowest bid, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Feast. Is there any resident that wishes to speak on this item? Seeing none, I would go ahead and entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to accept the bid for pool painting from Dayco Painting Incorporated in the amount of $69,500.
Second.
So we have a motion by Mr. McMahon, a second by Mr. Shannon. We'll go ahead and start with you, Mr. Shannon. Any comments, questions?
No question.
Mr. Kipp?
Quite a range at 283,000 to 69, but
Yeah.
thank you for getting all the bids. I love being able to see that part of it. Appreciate the effort on that.
Ms. Gurley?
You said this was done in 2018. Is that a normal lifespan for the paint?
Yeah. We have done some like patchwork in-house, but for the complete overhaul of the paint, this is pretty average, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the details.
I think you set a record on bids.
I mean, I'm
You had
excited
a
with that.
lot. I have no questions.
Ms. Blanks?
Thank you for diligently. You're always really good about getting a lot of bids. My apologies if I missed it in the packet. What made you end up going with them?
1, they are the lowest bid. 2, they do have a reputable, they've been in this area. They've done lots of different projects with Eudora, DeSoto, et cetera.
Awesome. Thanks, Justine.
Paula?
No questions, thank you, Justine.
Mr. Reeves?
No other questions here, thank you.
And I've got nothing else to add. If nobody else has got anything, I would go ahead and ask the clerk to go ahead and record the vote.
Kip?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
Blanks?
Yes.
Gurley?
Yes?
Reeves?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
McMahon?
Yes.
Motion passes.
On to item number 5, Center Park Shelter Purchase.
All right, good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Justine Speaks, Recreation Director. This is the request to purchase the shelter for Center Park installation. This would be the very same process that we did with the farmer's market, where we sourced it out on HGAC buy, and then we directly purchased it from Icon, and then our city engineer is working on the bid packet to actually get the installation and all the groundwork done separately. We do get a 10% discount by using this cooperative purchase, and then I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Is there any residents who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, I would go ahead and entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the purchase of a shelter from Icon Shelter Systems for $45,277.90.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Shannon and a second by Ms. Wood. We'll go ahead and start with you, Ms. Blanks.
No questions, but this is super exciting that we're continuing to add on really fun, beneficial additives throughout all of our parks. So thank you for your work on that.
Ms. Long?
No questions, thank you, Justine.
Mr. Reeves?
No questions, thank you.
Mr. McMahon?
I don't have any. Thank you for what you're doing.
Ms. Wood?
No questions.
Ms. Gurley?
2 questions. There was a book attached to this. I didn't read it all. Is it just background supporting the program that this group belongs to?
That's all of their bid all their bid documents to show us that, yes, they bid this out to the public and did it all. Yeah.
I skimmed it, didn't read it word for word. It was a lot. What's the timeline for installation on this?
I am hopeful for the fall, but it all kind of depends on when we can get that check cut and sent over to Icon, and then they begin their processing and their building, if you were.
Okay, thank you.
No questions, thanks.
Thanks, Justine. No questions.
I'll just come to kind of go on to Ms. Gurley, what she said. That's, when I was reading through that, I went, why are we getting bid information on Houston? And so now that explains a lot, so.
To To show that
If
it
there's-
was bid out, yes.
If there's no other comments, questions, we'll go ahead and record the vote.
Wong,
Yes.
Blanks,
Yes.
McMahon,
Yes.
Shannon,
Yes.
Wood,
Yes.
Reeves,
Yes.
Gurley,
Yes.
Kip,
Yes.
motion passes.
Mr. Mayor, I apologize. May I ask for a 2-minute break?
Yes, I am fine with that. Let's go ahead and take about 2 to 3 minute break. If everybody needs to utilize the facilities at all, please feel free to do that.
Take a break.
Read it real fast. Yes, yes.
Ms. Blanks, are you available? I didn't know if she was out, or if Bobby was out there, if she was out there talking to Bobby, maybe. There we go.
We could the
Yeah,
developer
but I
go back
think-
with the traffic study and say, I want to rerun this.
Yeah, but there may be a time frame, like, may have to wait a year, maybe possibly, I don't know. You'd have to check with staff on that. Yeah.
I think they left.
Okay, let's see if we can get this wrapped up for the evening. Ms. Spees, you're halfway through.
All right.
Item number 6, North Park Playground Purchase.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Justine Spees, the Recreation Director. Before you tonight is the request to make a purchase of a playground for North Park. We went through a community online vote via Facebook. We had 161 respondents to that poll, to that survey, which was great. The winning majority vote did go to option 1 for the natural landscape design. In your packet, you should have the other designs that were being voted on, and ultimately they went up with option 1. The reason why I put up to an amount not to exceed $275,000, in our discussion, or in my discussions with park staff, we think we might want to add a few more benches, and I wasn't confident I could get those included in this quote by the time that the survey closed and this council meeting. So that's why I put that wording in there specifically. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Spees. Is there any resident wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, I would go ahead and entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to approve the purchase of Natural Landscapes Playground from Fry and Associates, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $275,000.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Long, a second by Ms. Blanks. We'll go ahead and start with you, Mr. McMahon.
No questions.
Ms. Wood?
I love the design. I wish I were a kid.
Play on it? There's no age limit?
Okay.
Same question on timeline.
It's ADA.
They are confident they will get it done by the summer.
Summer?
Yep.
Very nice, thank you.
Wow.
I think my daughters were 160 of those votes. I like it, thank you.
Good job, Justine. Thank you very much.
Ms. Blanks?
No, seriously, Chris, the mixer merry-go-round is ADA accessible. We'll get you out there.
Yeah.
I think this is great, and on the ADA note, I do appreciate that that has become a forefront of our focus and conversations as we start to expand on our parks. So thank you for your work on that.
Ms. Long?
Questions, thank you.
Mr. Reeves?
None here, thank you.
And I have nothing additional. Well, let me ask you one question. From the design, it actually is going to be on both sides of the walkway that goes into the soccer fields. With that, any additional comments, questions? Seeing none, I would go ahead and have the clerk go ahead and record the vote.
Gurley?
Yes.
Kip?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
McMahon?
Yes.
Blanks?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Governmental service agreement with Lenexa.
All right, good
Who's
evening, Mayor
got
and
this
City.
item?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Justine Spees, Recreation Director. Before you tonight is the request to authorize the mayor to sign mayor to sign an intergovernmental agreement to do joint trips with the city of Lenexa. We've done this in the past. There might be a few more trips added to Exhibit A that are being worked on by staff, both in our staff, also Lenexa staff, but I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any resident wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, I would go ahead and entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign an intergovernmental service agreement with Lenexa for joint trips.
Second.
Got a motion by Ms. Gurley, and I think I heard Ms. Long for the second. So with that, I would go ahead and start with you, Mr. Reeves. Any comments, questions?
Sounds good to me.
Nothing here.
Ms. Blanks?
I think this is amazing, and I think that Bonner Springs continues to set the standard and trend of reaching across to neighboring communities and expanding opportunities, whether it's for our businesses, residents, or our senior citizens. So thank you for being a part of that.
I agree with Emily.
Yep.
Nothing more.
Nothing more.
Yes, I think this is great that we're able to partner with some of our neighboring cities that provides opportunities that some of our seniors would not have otherwise. So if there's no other comments, questions, I would go ahead and have the clerk go ahead and record the vote.
Wood?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
McMahon?
Yes.
Kip?
Yes.
Gurley?
Yes.
Blanks?
Yes.
Motion passes.
On to item number 8, final payment to Atmos Energy for 138th Street gas main relocation. Staff?
Home Saturday too, and he got there.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. Matt Beats, Public Works Director. This is the final change order with Atmos Gas Company. This is in regards to their gas main that runs up 138th Street. It was part of the project, the 138th Street project. Unlike most of the time, Atmos's gas mains are located in a private easement instead of a public one. So we in 2023 reached a agreement to pay for 76% of the relocation of that gas easement. In 2025, when they actually did the work, the price actually did go up, and they also hired a third-party inspector out there for the reason, basically, they were working at the same time as the contractor putting the water line in, and they wanted to have a third-party inspector out there overseeing both because they were concerned with safety out on the project. So that's why we see the increase in the actual agreement for this. So I'll try to answer any other questions.
Any resident wishes to speak on this item? Seeing none, I would go ahead and entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the final payment for relocation of the natural gas facilities associated with 138th Street Improvements Project to Atmos Energy Corporation in the amount of $704,709.23.
Second.
Okay, you've got a motion by Mr. Shannon, a second by Mr. Reeves. We'll go ahead and start with you, Mr. Shannon. Any comments, questions?
again, thanks for all you do, Matt. It's always great to know that our situation is in good hands, so thank you.
No questions.
Did we know about the third-party inspector before they hired them?
In the contract that we assigned with them, it was, we agreed to pay any of the reimbursable costs. We did question that a little bit, but that was part of one of their stipulations they wanted to have involved.
So this project was roughly a half a mile of length?
Roughly, yes.
Are we going to run into this problem times 7 as we extend toward Kansas Avenue?
I don't believe so. At least the next phase of it, I can't speak between Metropolitan and Kansas because I'm not exactly sure where theirs is there. But on this one here, part of the problem on this was the fact that where they had their line in was where we had planned on putting the water line for this project.
Right.
The next piece from Morris to Metro, whenever that does happen, the water line's already in the ground, so that'll be one less thing that we have to put in.
Is that gas line on the east or west of 138th, north of Morse? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Because that was part of the issue with this section as well, was that they were unwilling to utilize part of the existing line on the east and wanted to move it to the west, right?
Well, they had gas lines on both sides of 138th Street. Their main line, I believe, is what's located on the west, and I believe they abandoned what was on the east side as part of this.
So in theory, hopefully it's on the west side and there will be less relocation involved.
Cross your fingers.
Thank you.
Nothing.
So I think it was Saturday night, and we drove up 138th Street, and the improvement is so much better. And driving a half mile down Danny, in parallel with Danny's new driveway, which is really phenomenal. So maybe that's why the gas line's so expensive, Danny, in conjunction with that driveway you have now. I'm sorry, I'm just being a little lighthearted. These kind of numbers, it is what it is. There's not much you can do about it when you get into construction, right? And it's just, I'm sure city manager's not surprised. I mean, this happens and it's not going to be the end of it, right? You want to always try to budget for these kind of things, but it's impossible sometimes when you do all of that. Right. Yes, sir. Thank you, Matt, for everything you're doing.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Ms. Blanks?
I will echo that. I've learned this week that I am in the wrong career industries of not going into audio visuals and also now not going into construction/gas relocation. So I guess it is what it is. Thanks for all that you do, Matt.
Ms. Long?
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Reeves?
Yeah, you know I hate this kind of stuff.
I was waiting for this one.
I know.
I know I should have started with you.
Okay, so what?
Is that it?
That's it.
I've got nothing else. I was a little shocked too when I saw the price tag on it. I mean, the justification's there, but it was like, if there's no other comments or questions, I would go ahead and have the clerk go ahead and record the vote.
Gurley?
Yes.
Kip?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
McMahon?
Yes.
Blanks?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, our last item of the night, thank you, Mr. Beats. Our last item of the night is electing a new council president because of the motions, feelings of Mr. Shannon. He wants to continue to be on the council, of course, but he would like to step down from the position of being president. He fully understands, I think now, what it would involve if you suddenly became the mayor, and he's not sure if he really wants to take on that particular challenge. So, and he can he can give you any additional comments he'd like if he wishes to, but otherwise, I am personally putting forward the name of Council Member Danny Gurley to be the council president position. I would go ahead, if everybody's on board with that, go ahead and accept a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to elect Danny Gurley to council president position.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Blanks and a second by Longwoods. With that, Mr. Shannon, would you like to make any comments at all?
No, it's just, well, as I told Amber and Tom, that after having been blessed to be on the council for so many years and not having really realized what would happen if something happened to Tom, which of course I hope it would never happen, and all of a sudden I said, I am not the right person to do this, and I felt that on behalf of both my wife and I would want to be the best person I could be for the city, the employees, everybody, and I just didn't feel that would be, it really wasn't in my wheelhouse. If you need a cheerleader for Bonner, I'm your man, but not this. I'm not a businessman, and I appreciate very much what our former mayors have done and what Tom's doing, and knowing Danny as long as I have, I see the interest there, and I feel that this was the best thing for me to do and for the best interest of everybody, so that's the reason. So thank you.
Vote first. Oh.
I thought you said you weren't going to make any comments.
He said it all.
I know where you live.
Mr. Kipp, anything from you? Nothing. Ms. Gurley, would you like to make any comment at all
Not at this time, thank you.
Okay. Ms. Wood?
Thank you.
Mr. McMahon?
Roger, I think you are a good businessman. You wouldn't be down at the corner, so you're underselling what stock you actually have. Danny, I think you're incredibly polished and you're engaged, and slip seating with Mr. Shannon is not a bad idea, and I approve of it. And Roger, listen, wisdom goes a long ways, and you can continue to share your wisdom with this council. So, and Danny, you do a great job as president.
Ms. Blanks?
I just want to commend Roger for the leadership to know when it's the right time to step aside. I think as a younger person, I often witness in a lot of different areas when people, instead of having the opportunity to have a successor that they can work alongside and set them up for success, you just don't see that very often. So I commend that type of leadership in you and admire that. And I'm also really excited for Danny. You're amazing. So yeah, of course it's you. It's what makes sense.
Ms. Long?
Roger, thank you for your time as president of council, and Danny, welcome. I mean, if we all vote for it, right? So.
Mr. Reeves?
No comments. Let's vote.
Thank you.
Can I make one comment? I just want to make sure everybody fully understands. Having served with Ms. Gurley now for the better part of what, 8 years? 9 years? 10 years. She has shown that she fully understands procedures and understands how to make sure everybody's engaged and listens to everyone. And I think that if hopefully nothing ever happens, but if that were to happen, that she would, I think, do an admirable job stepping in as the mayor. So with that, I would go ahead and ask the clerk to go ahead and record the vote.
Blanks,
Yes.
McMahon,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Wood,
Yes.
Shannon,
Yes.
Reeves,
Yes.
Kipp,
Yes.
Gurley.
I will happily abstain.
Motion passes.
So that means she votes yes. Abstention votes with the majority. So. On to reports. So we're going to go ahead and put the time clock up there, and you got 2 minutes, so, each of us. So on to our city manager first.
Okay, I don't need the whole 2 minutes. I'll just say that I went down to Wichita with Matt Beats, and we went to the Associated General Contractors of America Awards luncheon, and we were awarded this Award of Honor for our water treatment plant. And we have this photo. we have this
Nice.
plaque.
That's great.
We'll get that displayed down at our water department. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Okay, we'll start with council items, and we'll start with you, Mr. Reeves.
Happy to be here.
Ms. Long,
I don't have anything this week, thank you.
Ms. Blanks.
You can always count on me. I will keep it short, and I will say that I, once again, appreciate working with our staff who are very professional and competent and that come to council meetings week after week that don't require us to submit our questions 4 to 6 months in advance because you know how to run your departments and you know how to think on your feet. And at the very, very least, you appreciate conversation to be able to answer those things without making snide remarks or putting it back on the person answering the questions. I was actually looking forward to having good conversation tonight, and I am incredibly disappointed with DA Dupree. I do thoroughly mean it that he needs to come back and have open door conversations with us as the council and the community, because there is an issue in Wyandotte County that raises questions at the district attorney's level's office. At the end of the day, I represent the community, not his office, not his reputation. And I am just really disappointed that tonight he came prepared with Law 101 courses on affidavits and samples of warrants and things like that. I think it was clear that's not why he was asked here. So I do look forward to him coming back and giving us actual real numbers of representation in Bonner Springs. Thanks.
Mr. McMahon.
How do I follow that? I'll keep it local. Continue to support our local businesses. And what we saw at the beginning with, the splash pad and all of the new, I'm for let's figure out how to do it all. And I know maybe some of the main stuff can be taken care of up front, and then there's that incremental, we'll do this a little bit later on, but Tilly's really good at it, and our city manager, I'm sure will figure out some ways to do it. But I just think all that does is improve our downtown. I love the fact that the Shiners are investing in our community. And guys, I don't think we can package properly in a positive way what they're doing, and getting the support from other business owners, that says a lot. So. Density is going to be an issue. We're getting some feedback from people having to park up by Third Space when they want to go eat at Red Fortune. So, might want to get used to that kind of stuff.
What a great problem to
The
have.
law office might have some parking over. You might have to put business parking only or something. And I don't know. I'm just kidding. You don't have to. Golf carts are now for sale. I saw down here at the trailer place, so that might be a good investment for parking. And also, you can go into the Red Fortune from the back as well. So I found that out. Anyway, good stuff. That's all I have.
Ms. Wood.
Whatever everybody else has said, because Bonner is a great place to be.
Amen.
Ms. Girdley.
Just thank you all for the vote of confidence. Stay warm. See you next time.
Mr. Kipp.
Thank you, Roger, for your service. Congratulations, Danny.
Mr. Shannon.
Thank you, Danny. You do a good job. I couldn't pass it to a better person.
And I'll keep it quick as well. I want to thank Roger for filling in for me on our February 9th meeting. Unfortunately, I did have something I had to attend, and that is holding and cuddling up to my new little granddaughter. So
That's not unfortunate.
yeah. So number 5, not for her, but for the grandparents. So, but I do want to thank Roger for stepping up and taking the realm that evening and taking the helm. Secondly, I just want to make sure I've only received a couple so far of the evaluations for Amber, even though we don't necessarily do a contract extension like we used to do in the past. It's still important for us to provide and give, just like any other employee, proper feedback on the job they're doing? Is there areas that we feel that maybe they need to work on, that we feel that they're doing a wonderful, excellent job? These are all important. So if you have not filled out an evaluation form, please get that filled out and get it dropped off to Ms. Brake at City Hall here. And because I believe we're going to attempt to have a executive session at our March 9th meeting that we can discuss, and you can let me know if there's anything I need to relate to Ms. Vogan. So with that, if there's no other questions for me,
Mr. Mayor, I move to adjourn this meeting. It is now 10:21.
Second.
even though I didn't ask for the motion, I will accept the motion from Mrs. Gurley and a second by Ms. Blanks. All those in favor say aye. Aye. I'm not even going to ask if anybody's opposed. We're adjourned.